Hello, welcome back. I'm Amanda, and this is my little cozy corner, the coziest corner of my apartment. We are going to be sitting down and chatting about the book I read for June. I only read one book for June because I only had one book on my TBR, and the reason why I only picked one is because the book I chose is 600 pages, and it's also an intense read. So I wanted to make sure that the book I chose was I gave it its time and place. I gave it my full attention. The book I read was Haunting Adeline, and I read the entire thing, which I need a round of applause for that. Let me hear a little round of applause. First of all, Haunting Adeline, finished it. But second of all, an applause because look at that. I read my first 600-page book. I am so proud of myself for reading it and getting through it. And it was difficult. Saying this is a difficult read is an understatement. This is not an easy book to digest. I found myself having to take multiple breaks while reading. I also didn't allow myself to read it before bed. It is so graphic and dark. I had trouble sleeping. I had to put that boundary up where I wasn't allowed to read this before bed, which made it take even longer for me to read because I normally read before bed. That's where I get all my reading in. But because this one was so graphic and dark, I couldn't read it before bed, otherwise I'd have nightmares. And I was so scared at night. I started barricading my bedroom doors, and I slept with my car keys and I slept with weapons, and so I had to reserve this to reading it during the day, but we made it work. Read a lot on the weekends. But all of that to say, I still enjoyed it. The things that I enjoyed about this book is the murder mystery subplot. I really enjoyed that and found that really interesting. I also enjoyed the diary entries. Let me show you one. So it looks handwritten and there's a little kiss mark. She's trying to solve the mystery of the murder of her great-grandmother, who she's living in the house. Not the great-grandmother, she's dead. But Adeline, or Addie, she's trying to solve the murder of her great-grandmother. And I really enjoyed that. I loved how the subplot of the murder kind of mirrored what Adeline was going through in her life. And especially in the diary entries, it really reflected, and that was interesting. And it was also scary at the same time. It's like, oh my gosh, is that gonna happen to her too? I really enjoyed the murder mystery subplot. I also enjoyed the friendship between Adeline and her friend Dea. I thought that was really sweet. I thought it was a really charming and kind friendship. There's this one scene where Adeline goes into they're at a haunted fair, and Dea needed a break. So she's just sitting off to the side, and Adeline goes into this house of mirrors, and it was 30 minutes before closing. And Adeline was in there for 2 hours, and the fair kicked Dea out, and she was just sitting in the car. And as a friend, if I was Dea, I would be so fucking pissed. And I was so mad at Adeline. I was like, your friend was terrified for you. She got kicked out of the fair, waiting for you. And what you were doing? You were getting dick. That's what you were doing. And your friend was scared. And you just didn't. That's rude. I know part of it wasn't. I gotta give Adeline a little grace, because it was her stalker and he was very controlling and pushed a lot of boundaries. But still, that I still appreciated their friendship. I thought they had a very mature friendship. Dea gave a lot of grace and was very mature about everything. The other thing so I liked their friendship. I liked the mystery subplot. And then I also liked how poetic it was. I wasn't expecting there to be so much imagery and almost like poetry in the book. It has skulls and butterflies and roses, and I wasn't expecting to finish this book and come out with quotes that I liked. And the first one was by Zaid. It was on page 429. Oh, okay. Page 429, Zaid says, "Loving you is like being trapped in a house of mirrors, little mouse. And I've never felt so at home while being so lost inside you." And so, I don't know, that was when I read that, I was like, oh shit, that's poetic. That's sweet as hell. That's romantic. I've never felt so at home while being lost inside you. Like, lost. I think this was like the first time he said that he loved her to her. Yeah, this is the first time he said he loved her. And so that one hit me hard. And then there was another quote that I wanted to share. So this part was poetic as hell, and I just found it really interesting, and I wanted to share it. It's by Zaid, and he says, "My body is just a vessel that my soul inhabits, attached to a shell that will one day leave. And when that day comes, I won't care to let that shell go. I carry my body around because I have to, not because it's a choice. But when I possess something meaningful, I'm choosing to hold on to it. Carrying something meaningful in my skin is effortless, but holding on to something that I could lose, that takes devotion." So, I don't know, that was just really pretty to me. And in the context of what they're talking about, it just like, it hit me. I'm like, I still don't know how to feel about Zaid. So there's a lot of imagery in this book. I think it's cool that Zaid doesn't have this terrible, horrific past. I think it's really, I don't want to say cute, because I feel like cute isn't the right word for it. Almost like heartwarming that Zaid is choosing to protect and save women and victims of human trafficking. Towards the end of the book, he talks about how he has the skills to do it, so he's going to do it. He says he had a wonderful upbringing, great parents, great life. He was never a victim of human trafficking, but he got into computer, like hacking or something, computer software or something, and he gained this skill, and he's like, I can use this skill to help people. And so he chose to do that. And I was like, that's really cool and unexpected. I thought that was really sweet that he's choosing to do it. So yeah, those are all the things that I liked about it. Now, it's always easier to find things I don't like about a book, because I can be pretty picky, but I'm gonna try and be nice. One of the things I didn't like is that I felt like Zaid was giving me whiplash. Zaid is such a stark black or white, but he's morally gray. Zaid, if you want a definition of what a morally gray character is, read this book, because Zaid is a morally gray character. Like, the definition of one. You could not get a better. You Google moral. Oh my God, I totally forgot about it. Morally gray. He pops up. It's gotta be him. He is morally gray to a T. If we didn't get Addie's perspective, I don't think I would like Zaid, but because we get her perspective, I do like him. Yeah, he's just so saturated in colors, but his morals are so gray. So I didn't like that Zaid was giving me whiplash. One minute he's killing bad guys and he's saving victims of human trafficking, and he's going in there and he's doing his thing, and he's being like this little white knight, even though he wouldn't call him. At one point he called himself a god. I'm gonna let that slide. Yeah, and he's like protecting people, and he's this like sweetheart. He wants to protect these little girls, and all about consent and stuff, and just amazing person. And then the next minute he's stalking Adeline and crossing all of these boundaries, and there's, I think, what is it called? Con, non-con? CNC? Which I had no idea what it was going into this book. And I don't feel comfortable describing it on the internet. So you might just need to look it up or read the book. But that was really uncomfortable. Con, non-con. And so I couldn't decide if I loved him or hated him. And so I'm putting him in the like carrot cat category. He's okay. I don't love him. I don't hate him. Don't want to be Adeline. Do not want to be Adeline one bit. Oh my gosh. She can have him. So the first thing I didn't like was Zaid I felt like he gave me whiplash. And then the other thing is, I didn't like our female main character. I didn't like Adeline all that much. This felt like it was Zaid's book. It didn't feel like Adeline's book. Every time we saw Adeline, she was primarily with Zaid. There was a couple of scenes where she was with Dea, but a lot of the book is her and Zaid. But we do get quite a few scenes with Zaid by himself. And so it felt like Zaid's book to me. I felt like I didn't get to know Adeline all that much. Other than that, she likes to drink. She's an author. She was obsessed with creepy old Halloween stuff and her grandma's murder. And she had a moral dilemma with falling in love with her stalker. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I got to know Adeline's personality, whereas I think we got to know Zaid's personality intimately. Very intimately. So yeah, I didn't like her all that much. Which maybe with the second book, it'll be different. I don't know if I'm going to read the second book yet or not. We'll see. I've said that with multiple other books of where I've said like, oh, I'm not going to read anymore, but then I go and pick up the second one. So I could tell you I'm not going to read the second Hunting Adeline, but I might go and pick it up anyways. Who knows? The other thing I didn't like is that once they realized that Adeline was being targeted to be kidnapped, I don't understand why Zaid just didn't live with her. I didn't understand why she continued living in her house, why Zaid just had people sitting at her house. I'm like, those people could be out helping other people, and like, why not just have her go to one of the safe houses that he brings the other women to? Like, if you know this secret society is going to kidnap the love of your life, really just putting guys out in the woods the best you can do? I was like, have her move in with you. He's very controlling, and which I didn't like. That kind of bothered me. I didn't understand why they just didn't live together. Because I also didn't understand why he always had to be the one to go in and infiltrate things. I'm like, with as big of an organization that he has, I would think that he would have other people that could go undercover, and then that way he could protect Adeline, and then someone else could go in and infiltrate, and he would still be a part of it. Which, I'm not the author. I didn't write the book, which the author needs a round of applause though. This is an amazing work of art. It might not be my favorite piece of art, but it's a work of art. It's 600 pages with an amazing storyline. It's interesting, it's new, it's fresh. This isn't your typical Hallmark story. Okay, you're not gonna get this anywhere else. This is unique, it is new, it is taboo. It kept me engaged. Now, like I said, I had to take breaks because it got a little too intense for me. But if that's your thing, I would recommend this book. I have a friend who loves creepy and intense and dark themes. I'm going to recommend this book to him. I might even give him my copy because I don't think I would reread this. But that's just not me. I like dark books, but this one was a little bit too intense for me. Partway through reading this book, I was tempted to DNF it because it was getting a little too intense for me. Like I said, I was having trouble sleeping, I was barricading my door, and it's like, that's not okay. Goes to show how immersive you can get in the book though. So kudos to the author for being able to get me there. Don't know if I wanted to be there though, which is my own fault. That's not her fault. I willingly picked up this book and read it. But there's a moment in time where I was gonna DNF it because I was like, I have a feeling that she's gonna get kidnapped. And when I read, I see myself as the main character, or like in that character's POV. So when it's her POV, I see myself in her shoes. And I had figured out partway through the book, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna get kidnapped and she's gonna be put in human trafficking, and I don't know if I can handle that. And so I had this huge moral dilemma. I actually called my mom and I was like, I have to finish this book because how privileged am I to be able to say, oh, this thing is making me uncomfortable, so I'm not gonna read it. When there are actual people who are going through this every day, who are like actually living that out. And I'm like, I don't know why I got so sentimental and so hung up on that, but I was like, I have to finish reading this. It was so important to me. After reading this book, it really inspires me to try and find a way that I can help. Reading about human trafficking, it really makes me want to see what types of skills and resources that I have that I could offer to help either get people out of it or prevent people from going into it, or, you know, it really inspires me to want to look more into it. So it is an amazing book. I think people should read it. But I think you should also be aware of what it contains and be mentally prepared. I highly recommend this book. I am giving it 4.5 stars. The only reason it's not a 5-star is because I'm taking half a star away for all the fucking sleep I lost from being so terrified by this freaking book. Goddamn! I'm so tired. But anyways, I don't know how to feel about this book. I'm just gonna give it a 4.5 stars because it really got me. I think a book is good when it can evoke emotions and it can evoke thought, and it did both for me. It made me terrified, and then it made me think about, like, what can I do to help? And so I recommend the book. Have any of you read it yet? Did you lose any sleep on it? Do you think I'm being over dramatic? I don't think I'm being over dramatic, which I'm a little over dramatic sometimes. But that's besides the point. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for sitting with me and hanging out. I hope to see you next time, and I love you. Bye.